So, more than five of my clients that are, including the ones that I recently got Peugeot vehicles for, uh, have been asking what's the difference or which one will they use between the 5W-40 and the 10W-40 recommended oil weight by Peugeot for the Alliance. So, yeah, I know I've explained it to them, and and I realized I think the best thing for me to do is maybe do a video on this, and subsequently, if any of them needs this clarification, I could just forward the link of this video to them. So this video might take a long time or short, it depends. Well, once I'm done with the explanation. So Peugeot, as early as 80s, 70s, not even 60s, not even 70s, as early as the 60s or 70s, 80s, 90s have been recommending 10W-40 as standard oil, that's the standard oil for their ICE engines, internal combustion engines. And well, I don't know much about the diesel ones, but I know for the petrol ones, has been the standard oil for them. So now, I know most of you who are asking or interested in knowing these differences using the modern Peugeot vehicles. I'm talking about at least the one produced uh, from the late 90s. I usually consider them as modern because basically, even up to today, basically using the same system, modified, but basically the same. So, as from the 90s, I think it was then that Peugeot started to bring out, started to publish the certification for the recommended oils that they, the recommended oils for these Peugeot vehicles. So before then, I think they what they will do is like if you get a Peugeot 504, Peugeot 505 user or owner's manual, you will see they will just specifically tell you use so and so shell 10W-40. At that time, I don't think it was total. Total, it wasn't total. I think it was a different name. So then they were recommending mostly shell oil. So they will just tell you use shell so and so. So it means just one particular oil that they will recommend, 10W-40. So, but from the late 90s, at least that I know of, so they now started to attach certification for specific engines to oil they could use or that will serve them better. Let me use those words, better, serve you those engines better. So so the 5W-40 and 10W-40 like standard recommended oil for most Peugeot engines from that late 90s. We stopped somewhere late 2000. I think from like late 2010. As it towards 2010, they now stopped using 10W-40 and 5W-40 as their standard oil. So even though there are some oil that says some engine that they still recommended, like 5W-40, 10W-40 after 2010, but it was no longer a standard that two oils will be recommended for almost all engines. In fact, most of the engines from 2010 upwards don't even use any of these oils anymore. So those certifications, what it means is this: they have satisfied or given this oil an approval to be used on so and so engine, not just one engine. Meaning they've done their tests Run it in you done it in their laboratory, as well, environment, different kind of environment, and now come out and say, from what they have found out, this oil will serve you much better if you use it on this engine or so and so engines, irrespective of the weather, the environment, and thereabouts. So choose between this. So when Peugeot is from that late 90s, so what happened was they will tell you the standard oil for example, the EW engines and the ES engines. The standard oil for these engines are this 5W-40 and 10W-40. Now the 5W-40 is fully synthetic, 10W-40 is semi-synthetic mix, or call it synthetic base. But at that time, from brand new, from the factory, it was 10W-40 that they were producing those vehicles with inside those engines. That's what you find inside the engine, even from brand new. So it was 10W-40 was the standard. How so? Being brand new car, you are not meant to push it that high, take it to the road and start to red zone the engine or red line the engine. So the 10W-40 is actually meant for, at that time, the one they recommended was actually meant for just the normal drive, to protect your engine. Just drive it normally, and you can still do the long oil drain interval to still serve you up to 10,000 kilometers, uh, 12 months, whichever comes first, depending on the environment you are staying anyway, or how you use your vehicle. That's the one they considered, is it arduous or severe use. So the 10W-40 was standard. Now the 5W-40 that they also put there was like, okay, use this one too, will serve you. In this case, if you are the type that redline your engine, you will have a better protection with this engine. I'm not it wasn't like, oh, if you are not the type that redline your engine, that push your engine or push it to the limit, that the 10W-40 no, the 5W-40 will not serve you. Now it means if you are the type that like pushing your engine to the limit, 5W-40 will protect the engine much better than the 10W-40. So you can use any of this oil and it will serve you, except that one has a better protection when you start pushing your engine to the limit. The 10W-40, remember, it's a little bit thicker, but okay. So that was in the late 90s or thereabout. Maybe it was before then. I'm just saying from what I have gathered or I know. At least I can be able to track from the late 90s. So oil have improved. How many years now? Since the 90s, I don't know how many decades, not even years anymore. So oil have improved. That's what I'm saying is oil manufacturers have been producing oil, the same grade, but different qualities. So now we have other oil, 10W-40, 5W-40, that still falls within that recommendations. New oils. I'm not talking about the one, what was produced, the same quality of 5W-40 or 10W-40 produced in 1980 or 1998 or whatever. I'm talking about something new introduced to give it at a much better protection than the one they did in the 80s or 90s. So, for example, the new what's it called, liquid moly 10W-40 is a new product, and fortunately it also falls into the recommended oil. It has that same oil certification. The oil certification for 5W-40 by Peugeot is the code is B712296. while the the code given by Peugeot for the 10W-40 is B712300. So this liquid moly 10W-40 new moly gen 10W-40, now also Peugeot also approved it with that 2300. But if I were to choose between that 10W-40, like the total one they did in the 90s or so, I'm talking about exactly that same one they did, probably that is still on sale, with the new 10W-40 from the moly gen, no, liquid moly, that which is also a moly gen. I will choose that liquid moly one because I mean it has been improved, even though they are different brand, but so the 10W-40 from that new moly gen, you will be surprised, may even serve you as good as their 5W-40 that is fully synthetic, that was produced in the 90s or thereabout. Some might even say it might even give better protection than the 5W-40, except that it's not actually a fully synthetic oil. But then, like I said, there have been a lot of improvement. I mean, the technology of engine oil have improved to the point that before now, manufacturers will tell you, by like in the early 2000s, they'll about tell you 5W-30, don't use it in an environment that the ambient or the weather temperature exceeds maybe 40 degrees Celsius or thereabout, you know. But now, the new 5W-30 they've introduced recently can even go beyond 40 degrees Celsius, up to 50 degrees Celsius, no matter how hot the environment is. That's why I'm coming. So there have been a lot of improvement on engine oils, so as technology is concerned, in terms of improvement and better protection for engines. So it's now up to you to now decide, okay, which one will you continue to use? You want to use the 5W-40, which has a better protection as far as the 90s are concerned till date. I'll still maintain that. A user, so I will confirm that. Or you now want to try something a little bit thicker, but now has basically, maybe, I'm not saying I'll confirm that, but because I know how technology have improved, has gone well on the engine oil, I want to believe, based on facts, yeah, I'm now saying facts, people who have used this liquid moly, new moly gen 10W-40 with Peugeot certification 2300, based on their feedback, the oil is fantastic. So it's possible that one too can serve you as good as the 5W-40 or probably better. I don't know. I'm not saying 5W-40 is not good or it's not as good as, or it's not better than this. It's up to you now to find out. But from what I have seen, man, that 10W-40 for liquid moly, liquid moly has so many 10W-40. I'm talking about this new moly gen recently introduced. Not that it's like a brand new oil. No, at least it's not an old oil. It's not an old technology. It was recently introduced. So it's not up to you to choose. Now, it depends. Some factors can make you confused, which was why my clients were asking. Number one, it could be a cost matter, a cost factor, maybe because of the current prices of engine oil now in Nigeria. It may make you start considering, is there a cheaper quality option you can go for? Or it could be maybe your engine started consuming oil a little bit more than the factory oil consumption. Now, I always say, yeah, a good engine or healthy engine doesn't burn oil. It doesn't mean that oil doesn't drop. Oil level does not drop. See, no matter how new your engine is, no matter how the engines are produced even from new to consume at least small amount of oil, depending on mileage and usage. At least on average, every 1,500 to 2,000 kilometers drive, the oil is expected to drop. No matter how healthy your engine is, it's expected to drop. The only thing is that as it's dropping, I'm talking about the oil level, as it's going down, it may not go down to the point or beyond the minimum or close to that minimum, to the point that you may need to top up before the next oil change. But it's expected. It's the people who designed them knew, they did all the tests, so they know it's supposed to drop. It's supposed to consume a little bit of oil. So anybody who is telling you, but I've been using this oil and I've never ever had a cost to top up the oil, the engine before the next oil change, it means two things, either, or more than two things. Either you are using thicker oil that is not meant for your engine, or you are changing your engine oil below the recommended interval, or you can't even tell the difference between the when engine oil level has dropped from where it was when you change the oil. Or it could be your engine is even having a serious issue, like excessive fueling, that your fuel are even going into your oil pan, mixing with the engine oil, unburnt fuel, mixing with the engine oil and increasing the level. So as it's increasing, the engine is burning it as well. So it will allow you to go below the minimum. So it's burning, but you might think, oh, but it's still at that same level. Just that it's increasing and it's burning off as well. So you assume that all is well. So these are the factors. So it's expected. It's not okay. See, even this brand new 508, let me go there. So that people will think that, oh, you're talking about 504, 406, how many years ago vehicles. I'm talking about brand new mint. Tear rubber, call it whatever. They also consume oil. They are expected to drop. They also, I think, it's even less than 1,000 kilometers thereabouts. You will have to top up. It doesn't matter how new your engine is. As long as your engine is moving, your paces, you're going up and down, this and that. Small part of oil is seeping through, but tight enough to be able to keep the compression well. So over time, the cylinders will start wearing out and stuff like that. Maybe by the time you start getting close to 1 million mileage, it may even start consuming a little bit more than the factory expected it to consume from you. So in that case, maybe you could say, okay, since maybe even though there's no leakage on the engine, I've now realized that every maybe 1,000 kilometers, a little bit less than 1,000 kilometers, I realize that my oil level has dropped close to minimum level on the dipstick. So in that case, if you are using 5W-40, yeah, it will make sense to switch to 10W-40, quality recommended one, which will also give you this, or if not the same, at least similar protection that 5W-40 was giving you at that time. If you are now the type that likes pushing your engine to the limit, see, what I mean pushing your engine to the limit, I'm not talking about people who push their RPM to 3,000, 4,000, and they start shouting, yay, my engine is sound. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I mean, you need to see me when I'm on front drive. As in, to be honest, even my 406, up till now, I'm still wondering why the engine, because I do drive it to the point that, see, I wouldn't mind even if the engine fails. I know the engine was designed to handle that kind of push or stress. But I was like, see, if it happens, I'm okay with it, as long as I'm catching my phone. So, I mean, I push the RPM constantly. Once I'm on front drive, I'm talking about red line. How much? 6,000, 7,005, close to 7,000. I hold it there most of the time. On my front drive, I hardly get to the fuel speed to tell you for you to have understanding what I'm talking about. So that's what I mean, push to the limit. You can push the other vehicle, other parts of the car to the limit, the suspension, but I'm talking about the engine now. So if you are the type that doesn't hardly go beyond 4,000, no, that's not you are not among the people I'm referring to. So if you want to, if you are the type that like pushing your engine to the limit, push it hard once in a while or most often, and you now notice the oil level has started going down without any leakage before every 1,500 kilometers. Not all I'm saying going down, I mean going down more than it used to do, you know. Then I will go for that liquid moly, the improved 10W-40 that will give me better protection than that 10W-40 that were produced in the 80s. Now, I hope you understand the difference. So that's why when I'm talking about that liquid moly or those things, I see it almost at the same quality of the 5W-40, even though it's not a fully synthetic oil. See, oil, anybody who you see look like, if you want to debate on engine oil, and you go and pull out the oil chart that was produced in the 70s, in the 80s, then honestly you need to update yourself, because oil technology have changed. They have changed as far as new ones that are coming up, are being produced daily, weekly, or thereabout, are being introduced. No, it has changed. So don't expect 5W-40. If there's a new 5W-40 like today from a quality brand, a non-quality brand, expect that 5W-40 probably can even serve you like a race or a engine oils, as it can go beyond, can serve you maybe above 60, like 5W-C, it can serve you like a 5W-60. You understand? And also I have this understanding that just because the 5W-40 Peugeot recommended is fully synthetic, doesn't mean that you can't get a fully synthetic 10W-40. Only difference that you may not have that Peugeot certification. It could have, but it may not be the well-known brand like the Total, the Mobile, as long as it has that certification. So synthetic or not synthetic doesn't necessarily mean it must be light. You could get a 20W-50 fully synthetic oil. So it's not about how light your oil is, means that's a synthetic oil, fully synthetic. No, can be any. So it depends on how whoever produces the oil, how the production went into place. So now you can now make your choice depending on how you drive, the cost factor, or stuff like that. Now, there are other things I know people have been asking, and maybe I could use this opportunity to address it. Before now, there have been what we have in Nigeria, um, like for the total engine oils. What we have is for 7,000, we have 15W-50. Initially, they didn't even have that, they didn't include the Peugeot, what's it called, a certification on it. It wasn't included. So later on, I started seeing it on that. So eventually, was it late last year or this year? So they now phased out that model, the 15W-50 for 7,000, and now introduced the 10W-40, which I don't know, one of the things I've been talking about online, why Total go and bring that 15W-50 instead of 10W-40 that can also serve in this environment. I don't even understand why they think that Nigeria is so hot, that why 5W-40 works very well here, and you think 10W-40 will not work, that is, that it must be a grease. So I don't even get that logic. If something light works very well, why wouldn't something closer to it work? Instead, you go and bring in grease in the name of oil. Yes, I consider that 15W-50 grease somehow, even though it's better than 20W-50. But I know from my personal experience and what it does to most of other people's engines. So that's why I never liked that oil. Whether it has Peugeot certification or not, I never liked it. So, the button 10W-40, but then for now, what they brought in is not that identical 10W-40 that Peugeot recommended in the 90s or thereabouts. It doesn't have this, like for example, the one Peugeot recommended that time, what you see on the container or the label is for 7,000. Total for 7,000, 10W-40. That's all. Other instruction or information on the container. But this one is called 7000X. For 7000S, that S for school. So which is different. It could be something new. Maybe it's an improved for 7000 of the 90s. Maybe this is a newer product, an improved one. Except for now, there is no Peugeot certification code on it. Maybe tomorrow they could add it later, like just like they did the previous 15W-50 for 7,000. So maybe in future they could add it. Maybe Peugeot actually approved it, but when they were preparing the what's it called, the stickers or label on the container, they omitted it. Of course, it has the international standards. What's it called? Is it A3, B3? Forgotten those codes. Yeah, but that's because an oil has international standard quality approved by blah blah blah. All these oil certification companies or test whatever. Not because it had that approval doesn't mean that it's good for your engine. Back then, in the 80s, in the 70s, in the 60s, engines are produced to the point to such a way that once they tell you use 10W-40, basically every 10W-40 will work very well in that engine. But now, engines are now produced specifically different to the point that you have to use specific oil for that engine to serve you well. Not just because if they say 5W-40 or 5W-30, if you go and put any other 5W-30, it could wreck that engine. So, even not just the engine, like the turbocharger, this and that, so they produce it with certain oil certification in mind to be able to work well on that engine. So as it is now, if I have, for example, I have an SN1 A engine, which is 90, what's it called, 80s production or thereabout, probably 70. I don't even know when they started doing that. I know at least as early as 80s, yeah, they started using SN1A engine in Peugeot 505 and the rest. Yes, I have it, so I can use that the new for 7,000 10W-40, that for 7,000S 10W-40 that is available in Nigeria. I'll use it without even thinking twice because I know these engines, they don't care. They are so rugged and indestructible that even 20W-50 will still run perfectly. It may not say perfectly well, but they don't care. That's how good they are. They will just run. As long as it's a quality oil, they just keep running. So I can use it, and the 10W-40 is commended for it. Like I said, at that time, I don't think there was anything like oil certification. They were not producing oil according to specific oil qualities. So now they are doing it. So you can use it even on SU engine. Yes, I'll go there as well. Even on an SU engine, Peugeot engine, I also can courageously use that new for 7,000 on it. I'm not an oil expert here. I'm just telling you, if I have that engine, I will use it. SU engine is not the EW engine is a little bit I won't say complex, but you look at the SU engine is a little bit rugged when you are comparing it with the older engines, you know. So those ones can take, even if it's not actually the recommended, because I don't know at that time of SU, when they started that SU engine, were there any oil certification? Well, I've not come across any. At least I have the manual, some of the owner's manual. I didn't see the oil certifications stamped on them. Yeah, they were all 10W-40, but it wasn't like used. So maybe at that time there maybe could be some manuals they have such thing that I've not come across. But for the EW engine, I will be very careful. I'll be very careful. So I would, if I have an EW engine, I wouldn't use it. This one yet, until you have to go and do your own homework, do your own research to be sure. Like I said, just because it's 10W-40 does not mean it's recommended for your engine, as far as these modern ones are concerned. So you need to be sure what you are using. I'm not going to come here and tell you go and use it, it's good for your engine. I'm not an oil expert. I only work with what the manufacturer states. And so far, what they've stated on all the ones I've been using, and they've have confirmed that they were right. So I can only stand on that and tell you this is what I know, because the certification they gave works. I've tried it. So people who have tried it is working for them. As long as the engine was healthy from the word go before I started using it, or you continue from the previous user using the recommended one. So if you want to go and try it, yeah, it's up to you. I'm not gonna tell you what to do on your vehicle. I'm not. It's not my responsibility. I'm not the one spending a dime on your car. So if you risk it, if it works for you, others will take a cue and probably join and start using it. Or you could do your own research, find out truly is it safe for you to use it on your modern engine. So I'm not gonna, I know people have been asking me to comment on that, and I just keep my mood. I'm not gonna tell you authoritatively go and do something Peugeot didn't say you should do. So until it comes out with that code, or I now come across where truly that oil has that Peugeot certification, like the B712-300, or any other Peugeot certification that I'm in here to know about. Once I find that, yes, I'll now say, make it public. Okay, this is my finding. You can use it. Can I use it? Like I say, see, in fact, that's probably what I'm going to be using on my 505 with one with SN1A engine. I'm not telling you to do it, because, like I said, those engines at that time they don't have all this certification. All they know is 10W-40, so go ahead and use it. Nobody cares. The engine doesn't care. That's how good they are, how robust, indestructible they are. So do your own homework. When I said EW engines recommended, 10W-40 recommended for it doesn't mean all EW engines. If you have EW10A and the engine is still intact, avoid 10W-40. The only oil recommended for you is 5W-40, as far as EW10A is concerned. Unless your engine is already weak. So in other words, you are now on borrowed time. You can hear you throw at it. Like I said, it's just to extend, help the engine to live a little bit longer before it packs up finally. So in other words, you're not trying to reduce the oil consumption. That's all. That's the reason why you have switched. But if your engine is still in good condition, I will go and switch to something thicker that Peugeot did not specifically said don't use. Use only this one. Man, it's on you, not Peugeot, when your engine goes boom. So I don't know if I still have any other thing to add, with this 5W-40 and 10W-40 this thing. Yeah, I'm a user of 5W-40, specifically the B712-296, the total brand. I'm a user. How many of my engines? 2 so far. For years, I can tell you it's one of the best choice I made. Of course, I know 10W-40, 15W-50 was there at that time. I tried it once on my phone since I never liked it. The engine became noisy, draggy. I just switched back. I think I had to use it for like 2 times. Switch back to my 5W-40 and remain there ever since. So whenever I'm saying that, you understand that I know what I'm talking about. I know how I push my car. Another thing I also want to say, even though I've kind of mentioned it, if you like leaving your engine hard all the time, even when you're not speeding, but you like all the time to wave your engine, especially those that wake up in the morning and even within a 5 kilometer drive, they start pushing their car very hard. Then you have to go light in terms of engine oil as much as possible. It will help to protect your engine much better. I also go fully synthetic or at least semi-synthetic that is not too thick. Engine oil works better when they are warm or lighter. In terms of protecting your engine component, as every part is rotating and this and that. So avoid mineral oil in that case. Avoid mineral oil in that case. Go for something that will give you a better protection. Or if you don't mind, if you're type that don't mind changing your engine all the time, hey, go ahead. Or you don't mind rebuilding your engine, spending money all the time rebuilding engine. Knock yourself out. Nobody is stopping you. But if you like it to last for you, it will eventually pack up. Nothing is meant to last forever. All you can do is try to milk life out of it as much as possible. So to last you up to 1 million, many people have done it, 1 million kilometer mileage, less, a little bit less, more than 1 million. It all depends how you use it or the previous user used it or whatever. So I hope this makes sense. Now you should understand about 5W-40, 10W-40, what to do. It's really a choice. It's not like I will tell you, no, use this one. I can only now tell you, use this one when if you tell me your engine has started burning oil way on 5W-40 and more than it should. Then, yeah, I can tell you, okay, maybe it's better you switch to 10W-40 and give you similar protection. Or maybe you are considering the cost and you realize, okay, you are not even the type that push your car hard. So this 5W-40 probably to you could be just a waste of money. Why not just go for another recommended one, which is 10W-40, that will also serve you well? What's the point? Yeah, you could go, but I always say whenever you switch to different oil grade or oil qualities, expect that it's possible the oil seals will react to that change and they will fail. Most times they won't fail because you introduce the oil. They do fail when the oil seals are already weak. They might not leak with the old oil you are using, the light oil, but they're already weak. So when you introduce something new, different oil property stuff like inside, it will fasten the final weakness and they will pack up, start blowing oil. So expect when it happens, just deal with all the oil sales that you need to deal with, and then you now stay on that particular new oil you have switched to. They won't have that oil leakage anymore. As long as they are quality oil sales, don't go and buy fake ones because it may not last long and they start leaking again. Okay, so that's all for now. I know this video, like I said, is going to be long, but it's for your own benefit. So I hope this has clarified this 5W-40 and 10W-40 questions. They are good one, but always look for that recommended or the certification from Peugeot. You can try, maybe, like I said, nothing wrong in giving it another experiment. Maybe it work for you. Use the one that Peugeot didn't even recommend. 2, 3, 4 years later, maybe you come out and say, hey, nothing happened. I mean, it even sound me better than the Peugeot one. When Peugeot is recommending oil, see, they are not just saying it because, they went inside the room and had a tea discussion with the oil manufacturer. Manufacturers, as they are producing engine oil, they are sending it to to car manufacturers to run a test on and see which of their engines it will work better or it will work on much better than the others. Some of them, they will send those oil and the car manufacturer will say, you know what, for now, we don't have any engine, current or old, that this your oil will work better. So we are not approving it for any of our engines. So when they do that, as they're giving them the oil, they are running some tests to confirm whether it will serve those this thing. How they run the test, you can go to car manufacturers and find out. So don't assume it's just a political thing or it's just a theory that they are giving those certifications based on theory. That no, they won that test because they are liable to whatever they come out publicly and announce and say use this. They can be sued if they recommend the wrong oil that will kill other people, their customers' engine. The customers can sue them and they will pay heavily for that. So they are very careful when they come out to say use this oil. So they are very sure that at least based on their own tests they've done, sometimes they take the test and do it outside their headquarters in various environments and come back and say, okay, this can work. So that's why it means, that's why personally I follow their own certification. They did this test, they produce this engine. So who am I to go and start telling them I know better than you do? So, all right, so that's all for now.